Hello and welcome to another AQA GCSE revision video. This is the June 2017 past paper. It's the second paper in the foundation tier of the 8300 series. This is question 26. 26 part A says complete the table of values for y equals x squared minus x minus 2. Bear in mind we are allowed to use a calculator. So all we do, we take our value for x, we plug it into this equation, and we get our value for y. However, I will be wanting a calculator for this. Actually, I won't need a calculator for the first part because the calculation is actually quite easy. It's just minus 2 squared, which is 4, minus, and that's negative 2, so that's 4 minus negative 2 is the same as 4 plus 2, which is 6, and minus 2, which is going to be 4. It just saves using a calculator. If you can do it in your head, it just saves using a calculator. But if at any point you're not sure, do use a calculator. Actually, I will use a calculator just to show you that that's right. Okay, so I've got my calculator, so I'm actually going to type in negative 2 and squared minus negative 2 and minus 2, and that gives me 4. Okay, so we need to do the same thing for negative 1. I'm just going to use the calculator. Negative 1 squared minus negative 1 minus 2 is equal to 0. These two are already filled in, so we just need 2. In fact, again, we could do it without a calculator. 2 squared is 4, minus 2 is 2, and minus 2 is 0. But again, I probably should use a calculator just to show you. Okay, so I have my calculator, so I'm just going to go 2 squared minus 2 minus 2. And that's equal to 0. Okay, and that's all there is to it for part A. Now for part B it says draw the graph of y equals x squared minus x minus 2 for values of x from negative 2 to 3. Well, this is actually really difficult to draw, even freehand with a pen. It's actually very difficult to draw a parabolic curve. So I've taken the liberty of trying to draw it ahead of time, and even with a little bit of extra time I've still had difficulty drawing a nice smooth parabolic curve on a computer. Right, so the way to do it is to take our x and y coordinates and plot those values. So you see x equals negative 2, we plot y equals 4, so negative 2 and 4, that's the point we plot. X equals negative 1 and 0, so that's the point we plot. X equals 0 and negative 2, that's the point we plot. X equals 1 and negative 2, and that's the point we plot. X equals 2 and 0, that's the point we plot, and x equals 3 and 4, and that's the point we plot. Now, the thing that they're going to be looking for is if you know where the minimum point is. You know that at 0 and 1 the two values are the same, and this is going to be symmetrical around the minimum point, so, or around the vertical line that goes through the minimum point. So we know that the minimum point is going to be halfway between x equals 0 and x equals 1. So that's x equals a half, or x equals 0.5. So if we plug x equals 0.5 into our calculations, well, a half squared is a quarter. Of course, you could use a calculator. Minus, and a half, so that's minus a half, and minus 2. So a quarter minus a half is negative a quarter. minus 2. So that's negative 2¼ or negative 2.25. So they're going to want to see that the minimum point is at negative 2.25. And they're going to be looking to ideally see a smooth U-shaped curve like this. Preferably better than this, but it's U-shaped and it's symmetrical about the vertical line x equals 1/2. And they're going to want to see you go through all of those points. But do not join the points up with a ruler and straight lines. They want to see that you know that it's not going to be straight lines. So even if your lines are a little bit wiggly, that actually means they know that you tried to draw it freehand with, or that you didn't use a ruler. That you tried to freehand draw a U-shaped parabolic curve. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. I'd like to wish you every success with your revision and every success with your exams, especially if you're taking them this year. And I look forward to seeing you in another video.